Hi everybody. Today we are going to look at uh, research and citations and how to find your sources, how to avoid plagiarism and all that. So whenever you do an academic essay, you need to get information from sources, and some of those sources would be you get information from books. You can get information from periodicals like journals, magazines, and newspapers. You can get information from databases uh, like government databases, uh, reports. These are some of the few sources from where you can get your information from. Now, before using any of these sources, it is important to check how appropriate they are by using following criteria. First and foremost, you need to see the authority. Like, for example, what do you know about the author of the source? Is the author well established? Is the author an expert in the field in which you're doing your academic essay? So it's very important to know the authority of the author, how genuine the author is. Secondly, it's important to know the purpose of that particular source. Why was this source written? Was it to find out or try to establish the author's position? Or was it to prove the author's point of view? And was the author being subjective or objective? Or the author, is he trying to convince or simply inform the reader? So it's very important to know the purpose for which the source is giving information to you. And third thing is the audience. Uh, the information in the source, for which audience was it written for? Who is the source written for? What is the target audience? Some sources are prepared for a very specific audience, example young children, and this may not be appropriate for an academic essay. So very important is to know uh, for whom the source was written for. And the last thing is the relevance. Was the source published recently? Is information in the source relevant to your essay topic? Is this uh, the source genuine? Like, for example, you cannot give information of from particular sources which are outdated. You need to give recent, fresh data, fresh information from recent published sources. So relevance is also very important when we are choosing appropriate sources. What is plagiarism? Uh, Plagiarism is when ideas, words, or works from an outside source are presented as the writer's own essay. See, in an academic essay, the writer is expected to copy from different sources, but when you copy from different sources, it is the duty of the writer to mention from where you have got the sources. So plagiarism is in fact an academic crime. Uh, it is like robbing somebody else's idea and then claiming those ideas to be yours. Uh, so we have to be very careful when we are taking information from different sources. We need to give them credit for uh, for their ideas when we put those ideas into our paper. So plagiarism could be words, ideas, facts, dates, statistics which we get from other sources, and if we don't mention from where we have got it. That that can lead to plagiarism. So the best thing to avoid plagiarism is uh, give citations, give mention from where you have copied or taken those sources from. So if you ask me, is copying allowed? Yes, copying is allowed, provided you mention from where you have copied uh, the particular information from. Now, we need to now to avoid plagiarism, we need to uh, do certain things, and that is, one, we can do something called as quotation. Secondly, we can paraphrase. Thirdly, we can summarize. And all these three things all need to be cited. So we'll go in detail and try to figure out what exactly we mean by quotation, paraphrasing, and summarizing. Okay, so quotation is using the exact words from another text and placing them inside quotation marks. Now, quotations are exact words taken from outside sources and placed in your essay. These words appear inside quotation marks in the essay and cannot be changed from how they appear in the original source. Uh, a quotation is a simple way of presenting other people's idea in an essay, but it should not be overused. Too many quotes will limit the essay writer's voice in their own essay. Quotes should only be used when the author of the quote is a respected authority on the essay topic. The words in the quote are memorably expressed and have a strong impression on the reader. Uh, Now let's see what is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is when information is taken from an outside source and expressed in an essay using the essay writer's own words. So in paraphrase, you take the information from outside source and you write it in your own words. Now in paraphrase, you roughly use the same number of words as in the original source. Paraphrasing is used when the writer wishes to use all the information from a passage. It is only appropriate for short pieces of information, that is almost like 4 sentences or less in length. Uh, Now, 3 words in a row exactly as in the original text is considered plagiarism. So when you're paraphrasing, you need to keep in mind that you don't use 3 words in a row which are exactly in the original text, or else it will be considered plagiarized. Now, summarizing is another way that information is taken from an outside source and expressed using the essay writer's own words. Now, compared to paraphrase, in summarizing, you use fewer words than the original text. Most summaries will only be 1 or 2 sentences in length. Summarizing is used when the writer wishes to use only the main ideas from a source. And now this is particularly useful way of including information from longer sources, that is like more than 4 sentences, or sources of a book length. So summarizing, you basically crunch down or write in brief, write in concise words from the original text. So that's summarizing. Now, whenever you you are trying to summarize or paraphrase uh, in your academic essay, you need to keep in mind that there are some words and some phrases that you cannot reword or you cannot change. Now, these words which cannot be reworded or cannot be changed, that is called shared language. And this shared language could be in the form of proper nouns like, for example, of the president of India, the name of the president, proper noun, which cannot be changed. Uh, Proper nouns like the World Cup, India, the Red Cross. This these words cannot be reworded or cannot be changed. Another shared language could be in the form of common nouns, like for example, table, chair, the police, the internet. These words cannot be reworded or changed. Uh, Dates and figures cannot be changed or reworded. You cannot paraphrase them. You cannot write them in your own words. And specialized language, uh, for example, jargons of particular subject, uh, for example, economic recession or red card or penalty kick in a football match. You cannot reword certain specialized languages used in certain areas or subject. Now, these are few steps that you can take while writing a paraphrase. First thing is you need to understand the original source fully. Then you go about underlining the shared language. So you just underline the proper nouns in the original text, the common nouns, the specialized language, the dates and figures, and know for yourself that you cannot change these words. Then turn the original source over and without looking try to rewrite the information using your own words. So when you're doing that, do not use more than 3 words, remember that, in a row from the original, as this will be regarded as plagiarism. And do not change the meaning of the words uh, or the meaning of the sentence when you're adding your own thought. Uh, and when you finished writing, check your paraphrase against the original source. Remember, you need to stick to the same number of words. And you need to ask this question to yourself: has the original meaning been kept? Has plagiarism been avoided by using your own words, phrases, and grammar? And are there roughly the same number of words used in the paraphrase as in the original text? So while writing a summary also, you need to keep certain steps in mind. Firstly, you need to read the original source until you have fully understood it. Then take notes of the main ideas. Since summary involves writing down the main ideas of the original text in your own words. So pick up the main ideas or underline the main ideas that you wish to summarize, and underline also any shared language that you see in the original text. Then again turn the original source over and using your notes of the main ideas, try to rewrite the information using your own words. So remember, do not use more than 3 words in a row from the original, as this will be regarded as plagiarism. Also, do not change the meaning of any of the ideas from the original or try to add your own thoughts. Uh, After when you have finished writing, check your summary against the original source and try to see if the original meaning is kept ask the question whether I have kept the original meaning, whether I have tried to avoid plagiarism when I have written it in my own words, and are words have I have I used fewer words than the original text? This is what you need to ask when you're summarizing, and uh, find out whether you have crunched it down into fewer words. I will briefly explain to you what is in-text citation, and maybe the next video that you will see is about more in depth on how to do in-text citation, what pattern to follow when you're doing in-text citations. But when you're using outside information in an essay, it is very important to cite sources in the text of the essay, as well as to provide a list of works cited. So basically there are two things you need to do. Is one is in-text citation when you're citing, doing citation. One is in-text citation, and second thing you need to do is work cited, or sometimes we call it bibliography. So what's the difference between these two? Bibliography comes at the end of your document, and in bibliography you have detailed list of all the sources that you have cited or you have taken information from your for your academic essay. Whereas in text citation is more about suppose you have got information from particular uh, source, and you have written the information in your academic essay, let's say a sentence in your academic or a quote. For in-text citation, what you do is immediately after that quote or paraphrase or the summary, you mention from which source you have got that information. In-text citation is bit smaller version of your bibliography or work cited. So where do you use in-text citation? You use in-text citation when you're using a quotation which you have copied from other sources, a paraphrase uh, which you have copied from other sources, a summary which you have copied from other sources. So that's where you use in-text citation. Also, citation is not required if the information is comes from you, if the idea is your own, or you have not copied it from anywhere else. And also uh, in-text citation is not used, or citation is not used when the information is a common language, like for example the Newton's law of gravity. When you are putting it into your academic essay, you are not going to cite Newton because it's a common knowledge now, everybody knows about it. So common knowledge and writer's own ideas, you need not cite, or citation is not required. So thank you very much uh, for listening to this lecture. Bye.